Hello, I am Nicolette, and I'm here with Deven, Bernadette, and Madison, Giselle Adams. We're here to talk about their new book, Children Are Wonderfully Made, which I'm so excited about. I got a chance to read the book. I'm obsessed. So, Deven, go ahead and tell us a little bit about the book.
Thank you, Nicolette. Well, Children Are Wonderfully Made is a book for children ages 5 or around kindergarten through maybe 6th grade, about 11, 12 years old. And it is a book that is written to instill identity and self-worth, to provide our children with those affirmations that they need to let them know that they are intentionally made, to let them know that their God-given identity is a beautiful thing and that they are valuable, that they are loved, and that is what the book is about.
So what was your process for creating the book?
So the book was actually born from my personal journaling. At 27, I became a Christian. And reading God's word, I began to find out at that age that I was intentionally made, that I had purpose and value, and that there were things that God had given me that were unique to me, and that those things were good. So I wrote this book from my personal journaling, but I wrote it for children. And with the project, once the book was completed, then way down the line, because this book has been done for a long time, God began to give me a vision for the book, and that was how Maddie became part of the book, because she was one of my students in my Bible study class. And the Lord just helped me to see things that He had put in her. She loved to draw. She had just a sense of wisdom and discernment at a very young age, because she was 5 or 6 around that time. And He allowed us to be able to connect and come together. Her parents said that it was okay for her to illustrate the book. And then once her illustrations were done, they were absolutely perfect. And then we brought on graphic designer Kenneth to color the pictures and to design the cover, and we have a book.
I think that's amazing, because I think a lot of people can relate to what you said about not getting those things as children. So this book is going to be something that'll provide that for kids. Can you talk to us about how your entries into your journal turned into the book?
So each section of the book is one of those values that I wish I had been given when I was younger. For example, I don't always get good grades, so I'm not smart. And then that's the declaration piece of it, what we say to ourselves or what our children may be saying to themselves. And then it's followed up with an acknowledgement of that statement. Yes, sometimes we can feel that way about ourselves. And then it follows it up with a truthful explanation. You may be good at learning this. Another person is good at learning this. We're all good at learning something. What are you good at learning? And then there's the affirmation piece, where our child takes this I am wonderfully made mirror and repeats this statement that's written in the book. I'm good at learning this. And then we go ahead and seal all of that with the truth of what God's word says, which is absolutely beautiful for us as people to know that God has said, I gave you exactly what I wanted to give you, and what you have is special to you. And we read that final truth from God's word that just seals that esteem and identity and value into our children. And that's how each section of the book is laid out, and all of those values were pulled right out of my personal journaling.
I love that. Absolutely beautiful. Very relatable. I love how you touched on so many different topics in the book. You covered so many things that children deal with, and I felt like when I was reading it, every single kid is going to be able to find themselves in that book. So Maddie, I got to be there and kind of watch you go through the process, and I remember you going through some different emotions sometimes with certain pictures. I just wanted to ask, how did you feel when you were doing your illustrations?
I don't know what to say. I felt very excited to do the illustrations. I feel very happy about the book. I hope the books help a lot of children, because lots of kids at my age and younger they go through some emotions, and I hope the book makes them better at expressing them and like helping them through it.
That's awesome. I absolutely love that. Like you said, kids deal with a lot of different emotions, and a lot of times adults don't always understand that. They think it's just kids stuff, but they don't understand kids go through some pretty serious things too. So have you ever been through a situation where you felt like life was treating you unfairly?
Yes, there was a time where I was treated unfairly by kids at school.
Do you think that helped you with the illustrations in the book?
Yes, it did.
How so?
I felt very sad when kids at school were being unkind and treating me unfairly. I learned to choose friends who were kind and liked me for me. I wanted other kids to know that if they're going through a hard time, that God will always help them through it and it'll always be okay.
That's amazing. I love how you used your experience and you put it into your illustrations. I think that'll help a lot of kids. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Okay, so Deven, who would you say the book is for?
The book is for every child. That age, kindergarten, every school agers, kindergarten through 6th grade. And it is for every child that needs to have that sense of identity, that sense of self-worth, that sense of intentionality, that sense of purpose. And that is every child. Every child needs that. Yeah. And the book will help parents facilitate that conversation about those things that either we don't know to talk about or we don't know how to talk about, how to start the conversation. Mm-hmm. So I want every child to have a copy of this book. There are over 73 million children in the United States, over 2 billion children in the world, and I want every single one of them to have a copy of this book.
Okay, so Deven, why do you think it's important for every child to have a copy of this book?
It's important for every child to have a copy of this book, Nicolette, because our children are going through things at a rate that we never had to go through them before. And it's showing up in the fact that the second leading cause of death of children ages 10 all the way up to adults age 34 is suicide. And we're not thinking that 10-year-olds are contemplating taking their own lives. This is a 3rd or 4th grader that we're talking about, and they are doing it. And that's unacceptable to me. This is something that keeps me up late at night. This is something that wakes me up early in the morning. This is something that if I'm just riding down the street in my car, I'm just heartbroken. Yeah. And I'm saying, God, there's a child somewhere who's thinking about taking their life or who's about to take their own life right now. Yeah. And what can I do, Lord? How do I help? How do we stop this? I want to move that so that there is no statistic for 10-year-olds committing suicide. There is no statistics for an 11 or 12 or 13-year-old taking their own life. All day, every day, they're getting these messages that say, if you don't look like this, you're not beautiful. If you don't have this, then you are not good enough. If you can't do this, if your life isn't picture perfect, then you're not worthy. And our children need to have that intentionality and that self-worth and that purposefulness and that just that value instilled in them so deeply that nothing can shake it. They're going to go through some things, but they need to have some kind of defense against what they're going to go through. And that's what the book is intended to do. And giving our children that sense of unshakable intentionality, unshakable self-worth, unshakable esteem, and a value and an appreciation for their uniqueness and their identity. That is absolutely necessary. They need it, and I want every child to have it. Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. Just hearing those statistics, those are very scary numbers, and it just speaks to how much work we all have to do to help our children. And I think this book is a really amazing place to start. So is there anything else that you want to add about the book?
Buy the book. I want to tell everybody to buy the book. Buy it for your children. Buy it for your grandchildren. Buy it for your next door neighbor's children, buy it for your nieces, buy it for your nephews, buy it for the child whose birthday party you're going to go to next week or next month.
Yes.
Buy the book and sit down and read it with your children, and encourage them with the affirmations, and let them know that they really are wonderfully made. Children are wonderfully made. Buy the book. That's what I want to say.
Yes, I will add to that. Buy the book. You want to add to it, Maddie?
Buy the book.
Yes, it's a great book. You can find it at Barnes & Noble. Where else can they get the book?
So the book is available. You can go into your local Barnes & Noble store and get the book. You can also go to barnesandnoble.com and get the book, hardcover or ebook. And the audiobook is going to be available through Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, Apple. So those are the platforms to get the book. You can read it however you want to read it. You can get the audiobook and ride down the road and have your kids in the back seat talking about I'm wonderfully made.
Yes.
But that's it. Buy the book.
All right, awesome. That's it, you guys. Make sure you get your copy of Children Are Wonderfully Made. Bye.
Bye.